Bueno, muy buenos días a todas las personas que se van conectando a esta sesión informativa de Colfuturo. El día de hoy estamos con la Universidad de East Anglia en Reino Unido y nos acompaña su representante Pete Ryan, quien nos va a contar sobre toda la oferta académica de esta universidad, opciones de financiación, requisitos de admisión, toda esa información relevante para que ustedes puedan tomar su decisión de hacer su posgrado en el exterior. También les recuerdo que tenemos un convenio con la universidad, que en este caso comprende una beca del 100% en el valor de la matrícula para un beneficiario de Colfuturo admitido a un programa de postgraduate y 25% para los demás beneficiarios. Entonces, muy importante que si ustedes quieren acceder a este beneficio, alguno de los dos, deben postularse al programa Crédito Beca de Colfuturo, el cual ya tiene una convocatoria abierta, abrió el 10 de enero, y tienen hasta el 28 de febrero. Entonces, muy importante, si ustedes después de esta sesión están interesados en postularse con la universidad, deben hacerlo mediante nuestra convocatoria. Y por último, si de pronto algunos no conocen cómo funciona el tema de Colfuturo, del programa Crédito Beca, pero están interesados en el beneficio, los invito a que se conecten a las sesiones que hacemos todos los viernes a las 8 de la mañana para que así puedan tener más información sobre cómo funciona la financiación de Colfuturo. Así que, with no more introduction, thank you, Pete, for being here, and you can start your presentation.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much for your welcome there. And thank you all very much for kind of joining us this morning for you, this afternoon for me. I do like to talk a lot, so I apologize in advance. I am going to intersperse my kind of opening remarks, I think, with a couple of videos, because it is very difficult to get a feel for a university or even for study in a foreign land without actually visiting. And I know that we don't all have the ability to be able to do that before we come across. So the last thing you really want is somebody like me talking at you for 20 minutes or so. So I will talk to you very much about the university and what we have to offer our students. I'll talk to you a little bit about our agreement with Colfuturo, and one we're excited about, and I'm really glad to have facilitated in 2019. We'll take a little look at entry requirements, and then we'll open up to kind of a Q&A session, and I hope that this is the beginning of a long and wonderful relationship with you all here, in that we are very open to inquiries and questions after this presentation, and I'll also kind of provide you with a bit of information on how you can get in touch with us. So without further ado, I will just give you a bit of an intro to UEA in video form.
I guess it's not working. It's...
Oh dear.
Okay, now it's working. Yeah, that's good.
We're having issues here, aren't we? Sorry. So very much, hopefully, a bit of a taste of the university. We are an institution that prides ourselves on being both a study, a tuition and a research-intensive university, but also a university that likes to strike a good balance between work and lifestyle. So very much you will find when you come to our campus that we are very much set up to obviously deliver quality academia, quality research, quality tuition, but also a place that is comfortable and enjoyable to live. But I'll come on to that in the campus in a second. In terms of location, and I think it's important that we start with location and where we are situated, because I hope that you will be spending at least a year with us, and for postgraduate research students, potentially 3 to 3.5 years with us. We're in the east of England. This wonderful green glint here kind of indicates our location. In a country as small as the UK, that is not a significant distance from London. So we are just under 2 hours from London by train, and about an hour from Cambridge. So we are the regional hub, if you will, the capital city of the east of England. And many, many years ago, about 700 plus, we were the we're the first city behind London in the UK. And that is because Norwich was the first trading city with overseas trade coming from Amsterdam and Rotterdam. So a hugely historical significant city, and that is reflected in the city itself and in the culture across east of England. So the university was founded in 1963. We are effectively the second age of universities, if you were to discount the historic universities. So the historic universities, what do I mean when I say that? Obviously your Oxfords, your Cambridges, your Durhams. The first kind of real age was the red brick universities. A lot of those now are Russell Group institutions, so your Liverpools, your Manchesters, etc. And they were founded around the 1800s, late 1800s, I should add. Before then, there weren't really many other institutions. So it was a handful really of 12, 14 institutions. And in the 1960s, there were a whole host of new institutions that opened up across the UK. They included Nottingham, they included places like Sussex, Surrey, Exeter, and ourselves at UEA. So you'll find that a lot of the universities that were founded around this time are campus-based universities. Now, campus-based universities can be kind of quite out in the countryside, in the sticks, and not too accessible. But what you'll find with UEA is actually we are right on the doorstep of the city of Norwich. So it's very easy to get to and from the city, but we have our own enclosed campus, and very much an enclosed campus environment that is kind of designed for the benefit of all of our students. So we're home to around 16,000 students and 4,000 international students. It's a very diverse makeup at the university, and it's one that we celebrate. You know, our students come across, and as I said before, they don't only study. We encourage you to become involved in the local community, and we very much have a student union and an international student society that encourages and celebrates this. So you can be part of our Global Voices program, where you can share your experience with school children and local communities, where you can share your cultures and share kind of foodstuffs as well, which is a big part of my life and a kind of real source of interest for a number of people at the university. So there are lots of societies and ways to engage there. We are a top university. We're kind of TEF Gold. So we have a gold standard teaching standards. We're also in the world's top 50 universities for the impact of our research, and we've had quite a lot of globally leading research going on for a number of years now. And we're also proud, to include amongst our alumni one of the pioneers of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 virus. So, you know, we've got a lot to shout about. We're quietly brilliant, if you will. The city that you'll live in, and this is absolutely important, although it is a medium-sized city in the UK, and a very traditional, very beautiful, very historic city, it kind of has everything that you need to live a day-to-day life. So It has one of the largest fixed markets in the United Kingdom, which is fantastic for buying foodstuffs and other trinkets and such. It has a very good, very modern kind of shopping district, very beautiful traditional cobbled streets. We're based along a riverside, and the Norwich riverside is absolutely fantastic. And we're not too far from the beach. However, and I say this very quickly, the climate may be slightly different to the one that you may all be used to. And we only actually get to go into the sea probably about 3 weeks in a year. But other than that, we also hope to have a Premier League football team again soon. Our local team, Norwich, are very much the perennial yo-yo club in that they will go down and they will bounce back up, only to go down again in the leagues. So hopefully you can see some Premier League football in the not too distant future.
Some cities you've heard of.
Others you have to discover.
A city of stories.
A city to live in.
And build a life in.
And feel alive in.
A city to listen to.
To explore.
And to breathe in.
A city that pulls together.
A city that is always independent.
A city that's not always what it seems.
A city that goes at its own pace. And that keeps pace.
A city to play in.
And stay in.
And play for.
A city to be a part of.
Welcome to our city.
So obviously very difficult to try and get you to picture the city with just words. I do hope that video gave it a bit more of a flavour. That was actually featuring the vast majority of students within that video were our international students. So really good to see some familiar faces to me. And the clips there were very much inspired by them, and we asked them what we should really be showing students and potential students to UEA. So that was just a selection of some of the things that they really enjoy about the city of Norwich. I won't show it to you again. As I say, our campus is based very short distance from the city centre. You can walk it within about 30 minutes. I cycle pretty much every day to campus from the other side of the city, and that takes me about 20 minutes, and a bus will take around 20 minutes as well. I mentioned that we are very much geared towards a dual purpose. That is one that is conducive to learning, but also to living too. And you will find we have some really good accommodation offerings across campus, which I'll talk about shortly. We have banks, a bookshop. We have various eateries and eating outlets, the street food, and all sorts of other cuisine, world cuisine, and throughout the week. We have our post office local shop as well. We are home to a multi-faith centre. We have cinema nights regularly on campus, our own theatre, visual arts centre. We're also home to 3 pubs and a music venue as well, and that music venue is extremely popular. We do attract some of the some very big name acts that come to UEA as the kind of anchor point for their regional tours. We're also home to one of the largest sports parks that any university can offer in the UK. And that sports park has an Olympic-sized swimming pool, all-weather football and tennis, football pitches and tennis courts, athletics track, climbing wall, state-of-the-art gym and spin facility, and a gymnastics centre too. So there really is, we hope, we expect something for everyone. And that kind of extends into our clubs and societies, where you'll find a number of societies that are engaged towards academia and the progression of your academic study, but also to the kind of developing soft skills and just general life, enjoyment really. So as I say, something for everyone. We're also home to our regional medical centre. So we do have a medical centre dedicated to staff and students, which includes a dentist on campus as well. And we have one of the largest art galleries of the region too, which the Sainsbury's Centre for Visual Arts doubles up as home of the Avengers and any of the Avengers films, which I haven't seen. But for me, it's one of the region's leading art centres, but one of the UK's leading centre for Japanese studies as well. In terms of that accommodation, and this is really important because you need to be comfortable with where you are living, where you're staying during your study. We are pleased to offer all of our international students guaranteed accommodation. Now, I know that there are concerns around accommodation and the provision of accommodation across many cities in the UK at the moment, but this is one area that we are proud to have been able to ring fence for our international students. We understand that it is much more difficult coming from overseas and securing accommodation than it is coming from anywhere in the UK. So we have ring fenced and guaranteed our international students accommodation on campus. We've also included all of our bills, and we haven't increased our accommodation costs for the coming years. We haven't passed any cost of living increases on to our students. We believe that is only the best thing that we can do to support our cohort going into 2023. So you do get a quite a wide range of option when it comes to your accommodation, and that there should be something there to fit every budget. You can live in the city if you wish to do so, but that is the most expensive option, and obviously you have to be concerned with getting to and from campus for your lectures, right through to ensuite accommodation, and then shared toilet, shared bathroom facility accommodation, down to a twin room. So if you really are kind of price conscious, and that's absolutely fine, we offer twin occupant rooms for a cut price to our students as well. The great thing about living on campus is that everything is included. You don't have to worry about transportation. Your bills are there, your internet is covered, and it's very much a friendly environment to live in. And we do split our accommodation offering between undergraduate and postgraduate. So you will not be thrown in with undergraduate students who tend to have, let's say, different life goals and outlook ahead of them. The university itself, and let's get into the meat of the academia side of things, excuse me. We are split across 4 faculties. Our sciences faculty is very much what the university was founded upon, and we are world leading really for biological sciences. It is one of the jewels in our crown. That, along with environmental sciences. Back in the early 1970s, we set up the first global climatic research unit, and we were one of a team of 3 institutions that coined the term global warming. So, very much we have been there at the forefront of environmental studies and climate change since research into that area began. In terms of other areas, our computing sciences is extremely strong, and we work with a number of governmental and non-governmental organizations on telecommunications and computing strategy. Globally, so that's a real kind of feather in our cap too. Then comes really our arts and humanities, which was also founded at the very beginning of UEA's academic delivery. We are world renowned in our literature and creative writing courses. Our creative writing courses are very difficult to attain entry to. However, you do know that if you do receive an offer for creative writing with UEA, you're going to be joining some of the most brilliant minds and writers of a generation. In that, all of our candidates for that course are extremely solid in terms of their writing prowess, and join academic cohort who are extremely successful, who run their own publishing house, and have some fantastic links into industry. Our international relations programs are very much a subject on the rise, especially around global security and politics. In our medical and health sciences, which is our newest faculty, we very much excel at health economics and at drug discovery, whilst in our social sciences faculty, we are one of the world's top 10 institutions for international development, a huge subject and a multidisciplinary school, which allows students not only to study development studies, but you can join that postgraduate degree in one of a number of subjects, including business or economics, in journalism, and environmental sciences. So we like to think that there is something for everyone. And we were always more than happy to talk through options and modular options on courses to find what would be the best fit for you. All of our students are offered an academic lead, really, so an academic tutor, and he or she will meet with you regularly during your course. In each of our schools, we also have an employability champion, and centrally our careers service offers great careers advice, coaching for job roles, CV assessment, mock interviews, and also careers fairs for all of our students, not only when they study with us, but also up to 3 years after you have completed your study. And we don't just limit this to the UK. We have information and advice on finding work in various different countries too. So it's a massively valuable resource for our students, and really just doubles down on our commitment to ensure that UEA students are some of the most employable on the job market. And that is reflected in really where our students end up going on to. We have, based upon data analysis from a couple of years ago, an unusually high proportion of our students going into organizations like PricewaterhouseCoopers and the Apple Corporation, going into Google and EdTech as well, but also, into KPMG. So we do have some excellent graduate success, and this is just a small example. Part of this is down to our accreditations. Pretty much every course that we offer will have some form of professional accreditation. These are some of the key and the common ones as well. But we are do pride ourselves in the fact that our courses not only come with a master's degree if you're studying a master's degree, but also with some professional accreditation and professional recognition alongside that as well. As I mentioned, UEA Col Futuro, we signed an agreement in 2019, and this is part of a strategy that I'm overseeing to ensure that the university becomes more accessible and more diverse globally. We are offering, as part of this agreement, but also in conjunction with other agreements and global offering, over £20 million per year in scholarship. For the Col Futuro agreement itself, we have a full fee award at master's level. Then we have a wide range of 25% awards, 20% at postgraduate research level. On top of that, though, we do offer a number of other awards. So you can find yourself receiving full fees beyond that one award that we offer there. at present, and this has led to a good number of your fellow country people joining us at UEA. So we bring in anywhere between 18 to 25 Colombian students to UEA each year, and they really are kind of setting up quite a following at UEA. We have our first Colombian society set up last year, part of the umbrella group of the South American Society, and we're really looking to kind of develop and build upon that as well. In terms of our entry requirements for master's degree study, we are generally looking for a 3.3 GPA from your bachelor's degree. If you are looking for postgraduate research study and you have partaken in some form of research at bachelor's level, you may be able to go from a bachelor's to a PhD in some of our science programs, provided you have a very strong proposal that you are looking to follow. Otherwise, we're looking for a master's degree to go on to PhD, and again, a 3.3 from that master's course. In terms of English language, we do take a number of tests. Obviously the international standard being IELTS, and we're looking for 6.0 IELTS with no less than 5.5 in most of our courses at master's level, and 6.5 at postgraduate research level as well. We also take the TOEFL, we also take Duolingo, as well as other tests too. So just very briefly then, at a glance, if you're going to come and join us, and I do hope you do, you will have the misfortune, I'm sure, to meet me when we bring you into the university, and we bring you in through our welcome and our orientation program. But you will have the good fortune to be joining a university which is fairly solid in both UK and global rankings, one that looks to balance that work and that life factor, and we're very proud of our clubs and societies and our non-academic offering as well as our academic offering. We always want to talk to you, and as a result, if you were to pop onto our website, you will have a pop-up in the bottom right-hand corner, and that will give you the option to speak to any student, but it will also give you the option to speak with any of our staff too. If you didn't want to do a typed chat with our staff, we also have our Meet Us platform, and you can Google UEA Meet Us, and that will allow you to book a one-to-one session with myself or any of my colleagues, and we can advise you further. So we're always looking to kind of talk and provide as much information to you so that you have the ability to make an informed decision about your future and your future studies. I may have spoken too much, and I apologize if I have, but I will leave that there and open the floor to any questions.
Good, thank you, Pete. So we're gonna go with the questions. We have the first one is Andrea. She's asking, I want to do an MBA. Have the university an MBA? Which are the requirements? What about the cost?
Yeah, sure. Good day to you, Maria, for sure. We do offer an MBA program. It is an AMBA accredited MBA. So AMBA accreditation usually means that you are kind of in the top 2% of MBA programs in the world. And that does come with it some stringent entry requirements. So the MBA program, you will need to have had 3 years of work experience. And that can be at a middle management level, it can be at an entrepreneurial level, or even in a family business, provided that you have the right kind of drive and business plan to develop that business. All of our MBA students are interviewed, and we usually take on around 30 to 40 MBA students a year. Now, we do that for 2 reasons. We want to have a relatively small MBA cohort that is therefore able to interact much more with each other. The beauty of the MBA is that actually, at least 60% of your learning will come from your MBA colleagues on the course at the time, through the sharing of experience, and that's what we aim to do with our course. The other reason is that our MBA program offers not just an MBA degree, but it offers a certificate from the Chartered Institute of Consultants. And we don't have a dissertation on our MBA program, we have consultancy projects. So as part of the MBA, you will, in a group, usually of 2 or 3, be placed into an organization, and that can be across the UK, it can be even further afield as well, to solve a business problem. And those problems can be anything. They can be cash flow issues, structural issues, HR, looking for strategic direction. And you do 2 of those throughout your course. So you are kind of getting experiential consultancy learning as well.
Good, thank you. So we have another question from Andrea, and she's asking if you have a scholarship, like for better performing students, different from the one from Colfuturo.
Yeah, sure. So the schools, so each school in the university has their own scholarship scheme, and it all depends on which course you're looking to study. For subjects around developmental studies, around creative writing, and some of our politics programs, we do have up to 100% scholarship, and that is very much a competitive based award. For other schools such as economics and for our business school, we have scholarships of up to £12,000. So that's around 60% of the course fees.
Okay. And we have another question that is from social media, and they are asking, are there supplementary admission requirements such as an essay or an interview?
For most of our courses, no. For our MBA, there is an interview. For our creative writing programs, we do ask for a sample of a work. And for anything around the healthcare field, there will be an interview. And that is really just to determine that the person that we are looking to offer a place on the course for is very much of the right ethics and mindset to kind of engage in a social care setting. Other than that, no, we are simply looking for an application and a statement of purpose, why you want to study the course.
Okay, and we have another question about the requirements. They're asking about the language certification, and they want to know if you have like a course for those people who doesn't have the level that you are in this case a requirement.
Yeah, no, absolutely. For anybody who doesn't necessarily meet the language requirement, we usually ask for an IELTS test to be taken so we can ascertain the general standard. And then we will offer a pre-sessional program. And those programs can last from as little as 4 weeks through to 16 weeks or even half a year, depending on the level of English that you have. And each of those programs will offer a guaranteed progression of your English language to bring you up to the standard that we require.
Okay, good. And the next one is about the work experience. They want to know, how's the work experience in UK?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, there's kind of 2 aspects to work experience, I suppose. So I'm going to go with in-study experience. I'm going to go with post-study experience. Starting with in-study experience, you will find the options available to you limited, and that is limited both in terms of your student visa, but also in terms of the limitation of time. So the student visa will allow you to work for 20 hours per week, during term time. Now, obviously, our academic colleagues at the university strongly recommend that you don't take all 20 of those hours, and they recommend no more than 10 to 12 hours of work in a week to be able to fit in your academic study as well. The second kind of limiter to that then is obviously the employer, and finding an employer that will allow flexible work around your study periods. That said, we do have quite a few options both on and off campus, and our career centre has a job centre for in-study students. A number of the employers from around the city, and there are a lot of them, will advertise for temporary or part-time work through the university. And we do encourage any employer that engages with us to pay more than the minimum wage in the UK and actually pay the living wage in the UK, which gives a bit of a bonus to students excuse me, who are working part-time. Given the current economy and the current climate, there are a lot of job vacancies out there, especially in the services sector. So if you are flexible and you don't mind the graft, there is absolutely the option for menial work during your studies. Some courses will offer placements, and that will be kind of next level up, and that will be better experiential. But the vast majority of our students who come in, they do find part-time work, but it's because they are flexible, both in terms of what they're doing and the times that they are doing things. Postgraduate, and we are just starting to get data from the first round of graduate study visa students. So the graduate visa obviously allows you to work in the UK for up to 2 years after you have finished your degree. And then beyond that, if your employer will sponsor you to do so. We currently have around 78% of people who have taken the option of the graduate route, the graduate visa, at a graduate level job. So working at a graduate level attainment. Beyond that, some students are either or graduated students, sorry, are in non-graduate level jobs or further study. But that's a fairly good return really for the first year of that graduate visa. And we're doing a lot to educate employers as to the opportunities of bringing it on board international graduates to their organizations. So there's plenty of opportunity out there at the moment for sure. Whether that will be the same in a year or 2 year or 3 years time, obviously we're not entirely sure. The economy is having a wobble here in the UK, but we do have a huge mismatch in terms of demand from the job market to supply in terms of labour in the UK at the moment, and that will make things favourable for students coming across.
Good, thank you, Pete. We're gonna go ahead with Johan. He's asking, I'm interested in the Master of Science in Climate Change and Global Development. I would like to know more about this course and the module of development work placement. How's that work?
Absolutely, yeah, sure. This is a dual delivered degree. It is delivered, from primarily from our School of Developmental Sciences, where you will be taught by some fantastic tutors, including a good friend of mine, David Gerling, who teaches one of the core modules on that course, and he is effectively your champion for experiential and employability learning. He is also a fantastic champion for the placement in the course. That course placement option usually will be taken either in the middle of the course, so around our Easter break, which will be 3 to 4 weeks, or it will be taken at the end of the course. Sometimes with some courses, although I don't believe with this one, in place of the dissertation, you are able to write an experiential report. We do occasionally have students who extend that placement and therefore extend their studies at no extra cost to the student. But that placement and the placement providers do occasionally ask for an extension to placement. So it can go beyond that 4-week period. Placements very much are secured by our academia. And we're quite lucky in our academic staff within the development school in that they are a very dynamic bunch of people. So we have around 38 academic staff in the school who are active globally. And when I say active globally, it means that they have their own research interests, but they also conducting field work across the world. We actually have one of my colleagues out in Colombia at the moment for the next 3 months, conducting research and field work across Colombia and Brazil, and there are opportunities there to work with him. We have academic staff out in sub-Saharan Africa. We have them across Sri Lanka and India. We have activity in Southeast Asia and in the Middle East. So there is a huge number of opportunities that they bring back to the program for students to go and actually get that experiential learning side of things. If you are interested in finding out more, it is not my area, unfortunately, but I would really encourage you to go onto our website, click on the Ask Us tab in the bottom right-hand corner, and seek out David Gerling, who would be happy, I'm sure, to answer any of the questions through a typed chat.
Good, thank you. We're gonna go with Felipe. He's asking, a bachelor's degree in the US is enough to prove the English level?
Absolutely, it is, yes. If your bachelor's degree in the US has been taught in the English medium, then we are happy to waive requirement there.
Okay, and then we have Andrea. She's asking about the last time to apply. Can you tell us about if they want to apply for a program, what is the deadline?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can't say anything really with full clarity here. Our deadline to apply for courses is usually the 31st of July. And when we say the 31st of July, that is the last point in which we would guarantee your application be considered to study at the university. After that point, we may not. Unfortunately, before that point, we have been known to close certain courses due to demand. And it is possible this year that we close our schools of business, computing, development studies early, perhaps late April, early May, due to the demand that we have this year. Ultimately, we do want the best students available to us, but at the same time, we are a university that prides ourselves in small group teaching. Very much the vast majority of our classes outside of the business school, tutorials and workshops will have no more than 10 to 15 students in a session, and we want to keep it that way. So we do tend to close early if we believe that we are going to bring in a large number of students to a particular course, because we want to protect the experience for all students. So I'm really sorry, Andrea, it doesn't properly answer your question. I suppose the proper answer is apply as soon as you can. But if you're doing so in the next couple of months, you'll be absolutely fine for sure.
Okay, and we have another question from Felipe, but that's like a really specific one. So my invitation, Felipe, is that you have here the email. You can send him all this information, so you're gonna have like a proper answer to this question that you have. And well, we have the last question from the social media, and they wanna have a piece of advice. They wanna know what can they do to have like a better chance to be admitted to the university.
So, I mean, really, in terms of university admission, the two things that we absolutely look at are your attainment from your previous study and your statement of intent, or your letter of intention, or whatever you would like to call it, your personal statement, really. We do read the personal statement, and we do take on board what you're saying in your personal statement. So here we are really looking that you have done your research on the university, that you're aware of the course and the opportunities that the course has to offer, and that you can relate those opportunities to your current lived experiences, or to your kind of future ambitions. In addition to that, we always do appreciate a strong, solid reference. So do butter up your referee, buy him flowers or her alcohol or whatever it needs to be for a positive reference, for sure. And that really is that. We do prefer to reward students on what they can bring to the campus. And I suppose what you will find is that outside of the Cultura agreement, if you are applying for other scholarships that UEA has to offer, you will find that a lot of them do ask around your character and what you can bring to the university, because outside of that academia, and we know that you're academically strong if we've made you an offer, outside of that, we're looking for you to come and to contribute to the community.
Okay, good. So that concludes our questions and the presentation. Thank you so much, Pete, for being here. And thank you for this useful information for all of us. And if you have more questions regarding the university, you can contact Pete. You have here the email. And also, if you have questions regarding Colfuturo and the agreement, you can contact us in the email josifuturo@colfuturo.org. That's our email. And as I said, thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you, Pete, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, lady. Thank you all. Thank you.